Alright, that should be good. Fucking bookshelf. Alright. Alright. Who? Nope. Nope. Who? Fuck. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of R.C.W. Top 10. This week, we're going to be counting down the top 10, trying to think of what to call this. It's sort of top 10 momentum breakers. Now, mostly on this list, it's going to be people who typically lost a big match or a title win. Now, typically on this list, it's not going to be title defenses, because we tried to focus on title losses in general. So that's what we're trying to focus on. We might do a separate list solely focusing on top 10 momentum or top 10 title momentum title breaks, I guess you would say. Sort of like someone losing their title and a huge momentum is killed from it. So on this list, we're counting any big match situation or whatever. We're trying to keep it to titles and special matches because they're the easiest to remember and the easiest to recall, and it also informs you because it's a lot more practical to remember. Oh, kids beat Rabbit for the R.C.W. Championship, or Brooke defeated Dean for the R.C.W. Championship, or Ethan defeated Madison, all kinds of different things. So it's more practical, so we're going to keep with special matches and title matches. So let's get on to number 10. Coming in at number 10 is Brooke defeating Dean at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Now, this was Dean's massive opportunity here to win the R.C.W. Championship, and he came up just short. He gave up a better fight than a lot of people thought he would. Some people thought he would win, and that clearly was not the case. And many people thought that he was just going to get squashed as it was or terribly cashed in. While he did come out unsuccessful in that match, it didn't affect him too much as a person or any of that matter, and has, still since then has done relatively well. I'm hoping to see him in the Deadly Games tournament. I could only imagine there's a lot of possibilities when it comes to that, so it's still not too late because we're still not even the pay-per-view after Hell in a Cell, and there's a lot of time to bounce back. That's Brooke defeats Dean for the RCW Championship at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is Ethan defeating Mattis in the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament. Now, this seems oddly specific, but like I said, this is special match circumstances. Now, we are looking at the fact that, yes, Mattis did somewhat recover from this, but this was Mattis' big chance that in one night he could become one of the most unstoppable forces. He would have had a world title shot, and then he would have gone on to SummerSlam as the key figure, and there's a lot to say about that. Honestly, I think it was a big chance for his momentum, and it definitely helped Ethan with the victory, but it definitely killed up Mattis' opportunities, but eventually he did bounce back, so that is why it comes a little bit lower here. So that's Ethan defeats Mattis, semifinals, King of the Ring 2014, at number 9. Coming in at number 8 is Kendall takes on Agent to a no contest. Now, no contest, draw, tie, whatever you want to call it. The stipulation at the time was 3 ties equals a draw. Now, that rule may not be existent right now. I'm not quite sure as to what we're going with on that regard. However, Kendall had the Intercontinental Championship, and many people felt that he didn't deserve to hold it. His defenses were controversial, nevertheless, and this one was no different. Agent Cool the Best, rated one of the greatest Intercontinental Champions of all time, with a 27-2 record at the time, felt the need that he had to challenge Kendall at the grandest stage of them all to once and for all end Kendall. But Kendall found a way to sneak out of it with 3 ties. The match ended in a no contest, and we never got to see a decisive winner. This chopped up Agent's chances of winning the Intercontinental Championship, as the title would remain with Kendall 1056 or LL Blazy Ken. That's Kendall fights Agent to a draw, no contest, or tie at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is K4L defeats ZM Punk at WrestleMania. Now, immediately, there's a magnifying glass, a microscope, a multiplier on any loss when it's at WrestleMania. And that's not really a bias, but it's your big stage. You gotta win. Now, it certainly doesn't help if you lose. It really doesn't help if you lose in, well, this number, the same amount of seconds being, this number right here, 10. That's why we do top 10s. But, yes, regardless, it took 10 seconds for K4L to put away ZM Punk for the Raw WWE Championship. Now, here's the thing is that, I was going to say, is that ZM Punk was still able to bounce back from this victory. I mean, he went for the R.C.W. Championship. He still won many championships, not far to come. But But K4 was certainly able to shut down that momentum and gain some of his own in a 10-second victory for the Raw WWE Championship at the second annual WrestleMania. That's K4L defeats CM Punk, WrestleMania 2, Raw WWE Championship at number 7. Coming in at number 6, this match has, well, virtually nothing to come going into it. Now, a lot of people, they sort of say that every single title match is a huge opportunity, and while that's true, there's a lot of title matches that are truthfully a lot more important than others, and Kids vs. Mater, just when you look at it, doesn't really come off as too much of an opportunity there. But here's the thing. During the match is what really built to this as a huge momentum kill. If many people remember this, if anybody remembers it, it was probably the closest R.C.W. Championship match in history, with Kids coming down well below the 25 health line and Mater being almost full with Kids backed up against the announce table area. Kids was able to escape, recuperate, get his thoughts back together, and was able to shut down Mater's momentum with a very bare victory, and stands to be one of the closest RCW title matches in history. It was truly a momentum kill for Mater, as he didn't take too well to the loss and couldn't really regather his focus after that. It took him months to get back into the title picture, but nevertheless, he was successful with a couple of Europeans, maybe some cruiserweights kind of thing, and a tag team not too short after. So that is Kids defeats Mater at Royal Rumble 2015 at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is the finals of King of the Ring 2015, where Eddie Orton, or Eddie Lesnar, defeated Gohan in the King of the Ring finals. Now this one is a mixture of Gohan really needed the circumstance, not to say that Eddie didn't need the circumstance, but also how the match played out. Now this goes between two superstars that really needed their opportunities in a way. Eddie Lesnar may have had a very successful career prior, but it was definitely a must-win if he ever wanted another chance at Kids Rock 4's title reign, because if he hadn't won that, Faith probably still would have been the number 1 contender, and he may never have gotten a shot again at that championship. Eddie Lesnar unfortunately came short of that championship, which kind of also ties in here, but we didn't put it there. And Gohan could have also used it because he was going to go for the World Heavyweight Championship. It would have been Gohan's huge chance to build up an NXT rookie career, a dynasty right there, and who knows, he could have been the World Heavyweight Champion that very night. Who knows? It's hard to say, but this is Eddie Lesnar defeats Gohan in the King of the Ring 2015 finals at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is Kids defeats Eddie at TLC 2014. Now, one could argue that the momentum lost in the King of the Ring 2015 match, where Eddie used his King of the Ring victory, losing out to Kids Rock 4, may have been just as momentous. But here's the thing, is Eddie, even if he lost the King of the Ring 2014 world title match, he still would have been King Lesnar, or referred to then as King Orton at the time. That was not going to go away. The title match may have not gone his way, but definitely the tournament did. But at TLC, Eddie truthfully had nothing to fall back on at the time. Not to say that he couldn't get out of that hole, but he did fall back into the hole with no safety net there. So Kids Rock 4 versus Eddie was billed as one of the largest matches. It was a dominant contender looking to end a title reign in which for 365 plus days he had never gotten a shot and felt that he was the only one who could end it. The match was close, the action was furious, but Kids Rock 4 was able to come out over top of Eddie Armour at the time, or Eddie Slayer, Eddie Lesnar. So that is, Kids defeats Eddie at TLC 2014, coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Generations defeats Rabid in his Money in the Bank cash-in. Now, this could also qualify as Generations defeats Rabid in the finals of the Money in the Bank match. They both tie into each other, and they both kind of have the same effect to them, but we counted the cash-in itself. Now, I do want to make a quick disclaimer. The number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 were all things that the people that we asked, and us two, Brooke and Kids, could not decide on what the order went. And so this order really can be altered. You can put anyone at number 1 you want. This is basically your mix and mash, your Mr. Potato Head right here, because that was the analogy I decided to make. That was the analogy. Anyway, all that aside, these 3 can be in any order. Anyway, so Generations, Captain Charisma Christian, cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase for the World Heavyweight Championship directly after Rabid's massive Elimination Chamber victory. Many people thought that Rabid wasn't going to be able to win the Elimination Chamber mostly because he had a 5-on-1 to deal with. This team's eventually disintegrated, turning it into a 3-on-3. Some confusion ended up on the team of Rock, Agent, and Django, leading to the elimination of Django and the double elimination of Rock and Agent. Derek would end up defeating Willow, and Rabbit would waste absolutely no time because he really had nothing else left. He had no opportunities beyond this. He had to take it, and he did, and it was his big moment. He had just won a 6-man elimination chamber match, which nobody thought he could, and Generations takes it upon himself to cash in that very Money in the Bank briefcase on him that night, very barely pulling away the victory and crushing Rabbit's first title reign as world champion. That's Generations defeats Rabbit in the Money in the Bank briefcase, SummerSlam 2015. Coming in at number 2 is Eddie defeats Ness at WrestleMania 1. Pretty much any list that involves a match or rivalry, you're going to see Eddie and Ness on the list somewhere, usually in the top 3. Now, the reason that this one comes in at number 2, like I said, it can also be arranged in any order, but Ness Quick himself had failed many Intercontinental Championship matches. He failed to get in the chambers. So many different opportunities passed him by, and he needed a huge boost. He needed something to solidify his career once and for all, and where better than the very first R.C.W. WrestleMania 1. Well, the only R.C.W. WrestleMania 1, but regardless, it was going to be the brash, arrogant champion taking on the hopeful and ever-desiring number 1 contender, Nesquik. The desire, the fighting, all of that makes for a perfect 5-star match. And in the end, a very, very bare victory by Eddie, clutching the end of the match, as it is called today. Eddie was able to defeat Ness and crush his momentum at WrestleMania 1, solidifying a dynasty legacy all of his own. That's Eddie defeats Ness at WrestleMania 1 for the World Heavyweight Championship, coming in at number 2. Coming in at number 1 is kind of a tie, but it's also kind of a double scenario all mixed into one. It is Kids defeats Rabbit for the RCW Championship, and Glirax defeats Rabbit for the United States Championship, both at WrestleMania 2. Now, the reason that this comes so high up is because from the span of Royal Rumble all the way until WrestleMania, Rabbit was booked and looked at as virtually indestructible to 90% of the roster, and I know there's going to be someone in the comments like, oh, but I could beat him, but I could beat him, but I could beat him, and in the quotes of Franklin Clinton, Rabbit is crazy man, but ridiculously undefeatable as he was, he came to a double loss at WrestleMania for both his United States Championship that he had held all the way, I believe it was a 70-plus day reign, from Royal Rumble where he took a 2-on-1, he defeated Mater, he defeated Rock, and would go all the way until WrestleMania where he lost to the Road WWE Hall of Famer, the Hall of Famer in RCW, former RCW champion Glirax in a very close match there. And then in the main event, using his Royal Rumble victory, where against all odds where he would win the Royal Rumble, go all the way to decide to go for the RCW championship at WrestleMania with the mentality of go big or go home. And he came up just short at WrestleMania, losing both his RCW championship match and his United States championship, once and for all, kind of crushing his momentum. Now, while he is looked at as a glorified world champion right now, and deservingly so, he's once again got to prove that legacy, got to prove all that dominance at Survivor Series next Sunday when he takes on Damon Ziggler. It's the challenge of a lifetime. Will Rabbit Angle be able to hold up against the momentum? Let's see what happens. That's Kids defeats Rabbit and Glirax defeats Rabbit at WrestleMania 2 for the RCW Championship and the United States Championship, respectively, coming in at number 1. Thank you guys for checking out this RCW Top 10. Now, my daughter Brooke would like to do the outro. However, I'd like to completely disown her because she ruined my view by flipping.
Oh, I didn't. Around. That was off camera, but sucker.
Wow.
Anyway, thanks for checking out this top 10. We're gonna try to put these out every Saturday, and be sure to check out our first NXT pay-per-view that's gonna be on the network. NXT Immortal gonna be up later. Be sure to come there. Be sure to check it out. Watch it. It's gonna be awesome.
Did you say be sure to come there?
Get there. I think
there's a mixture of get and come.
Stop.
Be sure to come there.
Okay, that's all I had to say. Fuck yourself. Bye.
Alright, this is Kids Rock 4 proving this message.
Hello, fools, Ansys. Lamau.